we had a number of piano sessions. We had a dance session. It's one of our students was on the drums. And so that was about half an hour of music, and we call it Wake Up with the Arts. It's a great way for students and staff and families who come in to see it in our main lobby. It's a great way to start your day.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private and independent schools to bring you insights into school programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administration. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
Oh, what do I love about my job? Well, every day I get to come to school and feel the energy of the students. I think the students are what drives people into education and making a difference in their lives. So I would say the students are the first. The second, it's another group of people, is the staff. Our staff are very committed educators who love what they do, and they do a great job, those 10 months of the year when they have the students in front of them. And then I would just say, I would say just our community in general, our families, and all of the various people that I've met in my 23 years at KCS. Former students, current families, past families, just met a interesting group of people who continue to make my life interesting and enjoyable. Well, the school, so I actually came from a private school in Ottawa called Turnbull School, which had some of the similar characteristics. It was just sort of getting underway. KCS at the time when I joined was about 10 years old. It had about 150 students. And there was opportunities for me to be involved in a lot of different things because we were a small school. Not only was I a teacher in history and language in grade 8, but I had opportunities for leadership positions, and as a result of that, had some opportunities that eventually led me to this role. From right when I get up, after walking my dog and coming to school, I would say that it can be a variety of things. Some planned and some unplanned. I would say that you have a variety of meetings with staff, with families, interactions with students. The unexpected always arises at a school. You never really know what's going to happen every day, and it would be foolish to think that you could script out your day every single day as a head of school. But interactions with families. For example, this morning we started our day with a program that we have here called Wake Up with the Arts, which is usually about 6 times a year, where about 10 students for each of those sessions signs up to perform. They might play the piano. Today we had a number of piano sessions. We had a dance session. It's one of our students was on the drums. And so that was about half an hour of music, and we call it Wake Up with the Arts. It's a great way for students and staff and families who come in to see it in our main lobby. It's a great way to start your day. And then I would, because we have 2 campuses, some days I may be down at our senior school. Today I'm at our junior school. Meetings with staff just to talk about what's next at the school, or maybe they have a situation that they need a little bit of advice or support on. And then on Sundays we also have evening activities. This past Saturday we had a gala for our school. So it can be usually starts around 7 and typically ends around 7. Well, I think we have students, the majority of our students will join us in our kindergarten program. And because our high school has just been open in the last 2 years, for basically 33 years of our 35-year history, students would join us in kindergarten, attend till grade 8, and then go off to another independent school. Now we have the offer of a senior school in Etobicoke in the west end of Toronto. And so now students have the opportunity to join us in the younger grades and complete their schooling in Etobicoke before heading off to whatever's next for them post-secondary wise, university, college, work. They have lots of different opportunities these days, and it's really hard to predict sort of what the next decade is going to look like and what those opportunities are going to be. We actually have very strong retention. I mean, every year we have a staff of almost 90 people now, now that we've added the high school. As an example, this year we have 2 staff members who are moving to be closer to family, moving towards the Ottawa region. We have a retirement, and as usual, we have a couple of maternity leaves. And because we're growing as a school, because we've added the senior campus, we're also adding staff in the grade 9 to grade 12 cohorts. So it's very strong retention. What we try to create here is an environment for our teachers to be the professionals they were trained to be, and as a result, they're compensated. They're given the resources they need. They're supported in their professional development, and they have a partnership with the parents and the students that allows them to deliver on what our program asks and expects. So we find that teachers are not looking for other opportunities at other schools. They may move occasionally for leadership roles, but generally we have very strong retention. Yeah, well, I would like to think that that all of our teachers embody the values of the school. And really we have 3 school rules that are respect, manage, and try your best. And when a new student comes into the school, whatever grade they are, we usually, at the beginning of September, we have an assembly. And right off the bat, we talk about our 3 school rules. We talk about those rules in assemblies, in our chapels, in classrooms, how they relate out on the sports fields or during our musical. And as I always say, if you can follow those 3 school rules in life, you can have a pretty good life. And so we have our teachers understand those rules. They teach them to the students. They live those rules, and we remind the students when they might deviate from one of the rules because of a poor choice. We try to frame it to say, here's a couple of other choices you might have made. How should you make the choice the next time? Well, because I think because we've been an elementary school for almost 33 years and not really a high school, we're very pleased in terms of the alumni that always come back to visit us, particularly as they go off to their high schools. I think as we roll out our high school over the next couple of years, I think we'll have strengthened alumni support because oftentimes alumni associate their high school with their schooling years, not including university. So we've had our gala, for example. We had a lot of alumni come back to participate. We have them dropping in. We just at the senior school just this week. We had an alumni speaking to our grade 9 and 10 students. So I think we have a good connection, and I think we're continuing to build that connection with our alumni. Well, I would say in terms of the elementary school students is that I think parents, especially in the younger grades where the students aren't necessarily making the choice of what school they go to, what families have told us is that they like our 4 doors to learning: academics, arts, athletics, and citizenship. that their children will have opportunities in all four of those doors, that they'll have a very strong academic program with a solid foundation on being a good citizen. Because as I say to our students in assemblies and whenever I have the opportunity to remind them of this message is, we want smart people, and that's what we're going to help you to become as a student in our school. But if you can combine that by being a good person at the same time and doing things for others, that's the real success of our school. It's the combination of academics with a strong belief in graduating good people. Well, I think sometimes we come across students who need smaller class sizes or more attention than we're able to provide in a class of 20. And that student may have some social issues or some discipline issues that may not, we just don't have the ability to support that. Or if the student really needs a lot of attention in terms of their academics. So it's sort of on the spectrum of where a student needs a really small class, like a handful of students or 6 students. That is oftentimes where we have conversations with families and we try to find a better fit for them. Well, I think it starts with our first school rule, which is respectful, and that we want to have a culture where our staff are respected, our students are respected, and our families are respected. And I think that begins the conversation. We also put a lot of emphasis, because our third school rule is respect, manners, and try your best. My apologies. The second school rule. I've only said those 3 school rules like a billion times in my time here. But manners is important to us too. That students and staff hold doors for each other, say hello in the morning. There's a politeness to the school, and I mean, we just finished off a community-wide survey, and our results in terms of our culture where we were getting scores in the 90s consistently in terms of the type of place. And there's a sort of a feel when you come into KCS that families often tell us about when they first come into the school, that it's hard to put into words, but it's a feeling that it's a welcoming feeling, it's a respectful feeling. And families, I think, are sometimes surprised by the ability of our students to talk to them, to hold doors, and just general politeness and respectfulness when they're in school. What I would say is that 95% of the times it's a very positive relationship. They work together. There's always difficult moments that require difficult conversations, and we do our best to support families with whatever's happening with their child or children in the school. So, but all of those conversations aren't always, they can't always be positive. They sometimes need to be difficult. And we work through those kind of conversations as best we can. But I think on the whole, 95% of those conversations are respectful, cordial, and there's a very good relationship between the families and the staff. I would say respectful. I would say welcoming. I'd say kind. And I would also say thoughtful, because I think we do spend quite a bit of time as a leadership team or as a staff thinking about what's next for the school. And that includes conversations at the board level. We're very thoughtful in the decisions we make. We don't make snap decisions about who we are as a school. So we have 2 campuses. So where I am today is at 4600 Dundas, which is our our junior school or our junior campus, which is JK to grade 8. And so we've been in this neighborhood now for well, it's our 35th anniversary in September. And I think for the most part, we have a very good relationship. We use the park across the street, which we lease from the city. We try to be good neighbors. We keep that park clean. We do activities within the neighborhood, like we have a Halloween parade through the neighborhood. We do a walk for Campfire Circle, which used to be called HGS Camp for kids with cancer. So I definitely our families in the neighborhood know of us. I would say where it becomes challenging at times is often at pickup and drop off. When there's lots of cars, but there's no school in the world that there aren't a lot of cars around at the beginning and the end of the day. But I think for the most part, I might have a couple of calls from neighbors. And it's often because of traffic issues in and around the school at those times. But I think it's positive. Now down at our senior school, we've just been open there since September, and we're in a condominium tower in the commercial space. And we're attached to a residential space, but so far so good. We've had some really good interactions with our neighbors, and we want to be good neighbors. So we work with our students and our staff to make sure that we can be the best neighbors that we can be. I think the first thing is I think you have to visit the school, because you can read all you want about a school, and I know a lot of families spend time on websites and read magazines, and they do all of that. But I think to really get a good feel for the school, you have to interact with the people that are there. And so I would say visit the school and visit if you can during the school day, because for what I would say to families, when sometimes we have open houses in the evening or on weekends. It's really just the building at those times. The school has a very different feel when you have almost 400 students walking around it and 90 staff. And it's an opportunity not only to walk around the school, but to talk to the people in the school. And I think that will give you a sense of whether you think this would be a good fit for your child or children.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.